Kuna mtu anatumiwa na Ruto anaitwa Roko. Mtu kichwa kubwa lakini hakuna akili.
Politics is often about numbers, but sometimes it is about identity. And that is exactly where the Mount Kenya region now finds itself. What began as a disagreement between Public Service Cabinet Secretary Gachagua-Ruku and former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is rapidly evolving into a much larger debate about who truly speaks for the region, whether Mount Kenya should remain politically united, and what strategy offers the best chance of retaining influence ahead of the 2027 general election. Gachagua-Ruku has consistently argued that Mount Kenya East, particularly Embu, Meru, and Tharaka Nithi, has for decades played the role of a loyal political partner without receiving equal political recognition. He says the time has come for these counties to negotiate independently and stop allowing their interests to be overshadowed by Mount Kenya West. Ruku insists that this is not an attempt to divide the region, but rather a call for political fairness and equal bargaining power.
Wakati ya kupata matunda kufuatia ile ndamu ilimwagika na majenerali wetu imefika kupitia kijana wetu Profesa Kithure Kindiki. Na tutaingia kwa serikali saa hii 2022 na ikifika hapo mbeleni tunahakikisha kwamba Kithure Kindiki amekuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Yes. Yule ambaye anakadhirika akadhirike. Lakini hiyo ndio kweli ya maneno. Watu wametudharau, watu wametudunisha. Hadi wameendelea kutuona sisi ni ile kazukari ya kuangusha kilo.
Before we take a break, Jeffrey.
Yes.
Why do you want to split the mountain?
I'm not splitting the mountain. I'm just saying the truth, how things are as far as Mount Kenya region is concerned. That we fought for independence of our nation together as mountain. We have been in government together, from Kibaki government, Jomo Kenyatta government, Moi government, Uhuru government, and even William Ruto's government. We formed together as a people. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the distribution of infrastructure roads in Mount Kenya region, for instance, Kiambu County, the electricity connection is about over 90%. What about Tharaka Nithi County? Are we in the same mountain? Are we talking of the same people? If you look at tarmac of number of kilometers in the west, we are talking about 77.7% of all the roads constructed in Mount Kenya region in Mount Kenya West.
On the opposite side stands Rigathi Gachagua. Since leaving government, he has made the unity of Mount Kenya one of his strongest political messages. Gachagua argues that the region's greatest strength has always been voting as one bloc. In his view, any attempt to split the region into East and West weakens its bargaining power and only benefits political competitors. During his recent rallies in Embu and Meru, he rejected Ruku's proposal and maintained that the mountain is one.
Kuna mtu anatumiwa na Ruto anaitwa Roko. Mtu kichwa kubwa lakini hakuna akili. Ati agawanye mlima. Ati wa Meru na wa Embu na wa Kikuyu wa wachane. Sisi nasema mlima ni mo. Mlima ni mo. Chama ni mo. Kiongozi ni mo. Wacha nione wana nasema mlima ni moja, mlima.
This is why Gachagua-Ruku has suddenly become one of the most talked about cabinet secretaries. Supporters of President William Ruto see him as defending the interests of Mount Kenya East and reinforcing Deputy President Kithure Kindiki's political standing. Critics, however, accuse him of introducing unnecessary divisions into a region that has traditionally sought strength through unity. The timing of Ruku's statements is also politically significant. Kenya is already entering an unofficial campaign season. Every statement by senior politicians is now viewed through the lens of the 2027 elections. Questions over who controls Mount Kenya are becoming increasingly important because the region remains one of Kenya's largest voting blocs. Another critical factor is Deputy President Kithure Kindiki. Although Kindiki has become the highest-ranking elected leader from Mount Kenya East, he has publicly rejected efforts to split the region, emphasizing unity rather than internal rivalry.
Juzi siku ya Jumapili Nikuwa pale Embu, kuna watu wengine pale wanaosema sijui tugawanye, sijui sehemu hii, sijui sehemu ingine ya Kenya, sijui sehemu hii iende huko. Mimi nataka nirudie nikiwa hapa Yata Masako. Kenya ni moja. Taifa letu ni moja. Jamii zote za Kenya ni wa Kenya. Na hii ni nchi yao. Hakuna mtu ataruhusiwa kuleta mambo ya kugawanya wananchi kwa misingi ya kikabila ama dini ama umri. Kenya ni yetu sisi zote, na lazima sisi zote tutembee kama ndugu na dada wa taifa moja.
His position suggests that even within government there are different approaches to securing political support from the mountain. The bigger political calculation goes beyond personalities. President William Ruto cannot afford to lose significant support in Mount Kenya if he hopes to secure another term. At the same time, Gachagua is working to consolidate support behind the opposition in the same region. That leaves cabinet secretaries such as Gachagua-Ruku, governors, MPs and senators under pressure to persuade voters that remaining with the government is in the region's best interests. Some analysts believe Ruku's strategy seeks to reshape political conversations by encouraging Mount Kenya East to negotiate from its own position of strength instead of automatically following broader regional politics. Others believe the strategy carries serious risks because it may reduce the region's collective bargaining power if internal divisions deepen. There is also an important historical context. Since independence, Mount Kenya has often exercised considerable influence by presenting itself as a largely united political bloc despite internal county differences. That unity helped produce influential leaders and senior government appointments across different administrations. Whether that model should continue or evolve is now at the heart of the current debate. What makes this contest especially interesting is that it is no longer simply about Gachagua-Ruku versus Rigathi Gachagua. It is increasingly becoming a contest between two competing political philosophies. One philosophy argues that unity creates negotiating power. The other argues that true unity cannot exist unless every section of the region feels fairly represented. Whichever argument ultimately convinces the majority of voters could significantly shape not only Mount Kenya politics, but also the national political landscape as Kenya moves closer to the next general election. As events continue to unfold, one fact remains undeniable. The battle for Mount Kenya is no longer taking place only between government and opposition. It is also a battle over identity, representation, leadership, and the future political direction of one of Kenya's most influential regions. Do you think Gachagua-Ruku is fighting for the genuine interests of Mount Kenya East? Or is his political approach weakening the unity that has traditionally given the region its influence? Share your thoughts in the comments below.